Hi, Laura.
You
Oh,
hear me
yes,
okay?
yes, we can hear you. We can
Amazing.
see you.
Perfect. It's always a little
Um,
switch up.
I know, no, don't worry, don't worry. It's a Monday. We have had some issues today, so don't worry. I feel like everyone's just getting over the weekend. But you're here, Laura, and you're going to be telling us about don't having to choose between creative corporate. So, do you want to just start by telling us a bit about who you are and your career journey to where you are now?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to have this platform to share my journey. But yeah, a little bit about me. So I've been in the corporate world now for nearly 10 years. But it all kind of started back at school. My background was very much in arts, and wanting to go and study at university to do costume design. So I've definitely kind of got like a creative background, but this changed very quickly. And suddenly I was leaving school, had to make decisions. And next thing I knew, I was doing an apprenticeship alongside a full-time job for one of our main UK banking companies. So suddenly switched from this creative world to the corporate world, and that kind of kick-started my career really. So it was within HR, and probably for about 5 years, I jumped around various HR roles, getting different insights, maybe kind of craving that creativity and not realizing it then until I discovered the world of talent and development. So the role that I'm working in now is all around supporting people with their careers, putting people on development programs, helping leaders kind of, develop their skills to be the best managers possible. So up until then, it's definitely not been a straight line. I've kind of just followed what energizes me. But I guess the main reason I'm here today is alongside all of this, I've started pursuing pottery as a career as well. So yeah, we can get more into that as we go on. But that's kind of a little bit about me
Yeah.
and my career so far.
Amazing. And like so many people are like studying art or studying something creative. And I guess their ambitions is to work in the creative industries. I remember you saying that that was always your ambition when you were younger. Um, so when did that like change and were you not frustrated that you weren't working in the creative industries?
Oh my gosh, if I had a pound for every time I was questioning my job and whether I should have gone down a different avenue and pursued creativity, I'd be rich. But yeah, it was a real struggle because I think when you're at school and you're studying creative subjects, you just kind of seem to have this echo of, oh, it's very competitive. There's not really any money in going down the creative route, and I really struggled with that. And I think at the same time, when I look back to when I was leaving school, you almost get decision fatigue. And I think that's why I just kind of, maybe it was an easy route that I just kind of went on autopilot and did what I thought I should do. Um, Sometimes I felt I regretted that, but actually now I've managed to find my way back into the creative world. And actually, I think I've gained so much by taking the route that I did that I maybe wouldn't have done if I'd gone to university.
Yeah,
So yeah, definitely lots of feelings of frustration, but worth it. Well,
worth
yeah,
it.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is worth it? I guess talk about what your corporate job is allowing you to do.
My corporate job, I think more recently, finding the role that really resonates with me gives me so much purpose. And I think kind of doing the corporate job alongside now a creative role as well, they both give me completely different things, but it helps balance my life a lot more now. I think going to work definitely kind of gives me that structure. I do now have an outlet with work to be creative, and it took a long time to find that. So yeah, work gives me that sense of purpose. I'm connecting with people, and it creates more impact. But I think until I found pottery, I didn't realize that I needed that balance of having, feeling present, having that kind of flow mindset as well, and just being able to create things just like when you're a child. It wasn't until I then brought that into my work life that I feel more balanced and more kind of content with where this kind of journey is taking me. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It wasn't always easy. It took a lot of trial and error to get where I am now. Um, Lots of mistakes, lots of different avenues. But I think if you can really tap into what your strengths are and what you enjoy, then you can kind of nail it down and find an environment that you do thrive in.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I think that's it. You've hit, hit the nail on the head there, which is balance. And I don't think a lot of people talk about that, honestly, as well, because, we do need to pay our bills. We need to have stability. We need to feel like we're earning and being able to, I know, buy a house one day and provide for your family. And
Mm,
so would you say that the corporate job is giving you stability, giving you, I guess, financial advantage?
definitely. 100%. Sometimes the way I see it now is my day job is kind of financing my pottery hobby. When I first started doing the pottery courses, that's kind of how I saw it. I went to work in the day, and that gave me the financial stability, as you say. I think, like I've mentioned, it gives you structure as well. It gives you kind of like that purpose. Um, and that then in turn kind of funds this other creative outlet that I've got at the minute. So it is difficult. I think there's a lot of pressure on people now. And, prices are just skyrocketing all the time. I don't think it's the same as it was maybe 30 years ago when our parents were growing up. So there's definitely new challenges today. But yeah, I think the real kind of pivotal moment for me was when I get asked the question, well, are you going to quit your day job to kind of pursue pottery full time? And I just wouldn't. I wouldn't do it at the minute because I still think it gives me something that pottery doesn't, but as well as that kind of financial security and long term stability as well.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. You can do both. And so talk about how the balance works. So would you go to work? Is it like a 9 to 5, or and then you do pottery in the evening, or how does that work?
Definitely. Yeah. I try and stick to the 9 to 5. Sometimes you get to the afternoon and your brain would rather be in the studio, but very much, yeah, Monday to Friday, flexible times really. It's quite exciting working. It's an international company, so everyone's working at different times. But as long as you do your hours and you get your job done, as soon as I log off, I then look at what I'm going to do in the evenings in terms of pottery. And I think also weekends. I spent just hours upon end in the studio creating things, learning new skills. So it's a real balance, though. No 2 weeks look the same. Um, I think what I've really had to learn is, again, it comes back to that theme of balance, is not putting too much pressure on yourself, because at the end of the day, you have to kind of prioritize the 9 to 5 job. And when it comes to pottery in the evenings, if there's some weeks where I don't get in the studio, you don't get in the studio. And it's just, yeah, that's probably the challenge that I have to overcome more frequently.
Mm.
There's lots of other things to do in life. You've got to cook, you've got to clean, you've got to make time for your friends and other hobbies as well. So
And also
yeah,
sometimes if you did pursue pottery full time, you actually might have fallen out of love with it because it maybe consumed your whole life, but actually being able to only be able to do it, it just makes it more fulfilling. Um, we put together some of your just some like pictures that you sent through of your pottery, so I thought I'd share that just so people can see. And are you selling them? Like, are you trying to create a business on the side so you are allowed to have a job and have another business?
yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, been doing pottery for a few years now, but I'm very excited that recently I did launch a website and a shop. So I have created it as a second time, like a second job now. I did
Amazing.
that. Yeah, it's super exciting, very scary. But the reason I did it this way was just so that I could control it. So if I create things and I have the stock, I can put them on there and they're there for people to buy. Again, it's making it work in a way that doesn't add pressure. But yeah, no, I it's definitely been a journey with creating all of these different things.
Well, this is amazing as well. Look at such beautiful stuff. And I think, like, with your generation, all of the tools and the platforms do allow you to set up a business quite easily, create a website quite easily. So you can, like, again, the balance is you can have a business on the web on the weekend and in the evenings, but then still have a stable job that is going to give you benefits, networks, financial. So it kind of seems like a win-win situation.
It does. It definitely. Do you know what? I think at the end of the day, through my corporate career so far, I think when you are a creative person, there was just always this missing piece. And I'll never forget one of my first jobs. I had a mentor, and I think she saw it before I did, and she kind of referred to it as this kind of creative nugget. She said, if you don't find it, it's just going to burn away, and you're just, it's always going to gnaw at you. Um, and it's taken a long time, and it's funny actually because I did nearly kind of give up on corporate career, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to get back into the creative world. And maybe one challenge that I did find that maybe others can relate to is once you do go down this kind of corporate career and you don't go to university to do a creative study, it's really hard to get back in.
Mm.
It's actually how I came across Eric a few years ago because
Oh,
I was really trying to find ways to kind of step back into it. And honestly, I think it was complete fate going to a pottery lesson one day because I think this has changed my life. This has honestly brought me back so much joy and happiness and fulfillment. And if I hadn't done that, who knows? I could still be kind of, fighting this challenge of where's the line between trying to create stability in your life, but
yeah.
finding creative outlets. Yeah. And like
And
you said,
how do
there's
you
so
not,
many things online now that
yeah.
you can use to figure it out.
And how do you not burn out? Because obviously you're kind of juggling so much. How are you surviving?
Surviving. Yeah, surviving but thriving. That's how we try and live. Honestly, the advice I always give to others and the advice I really try and live by myself is it all comes back to your basic needs. It all starts with you. And if you want to create a successful career or a business or create time for these hobbies, you have to nourish those basic needs. And, so that it's people forget it, but it's drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, doing exercise or just creating time to chill out. And I think for me, if you don't nourish those basic needs and you add pressure on trying to do everything, then you just can't do anything at all. And so if there's one week where, work's more demanding or there's things going on outside of pottery, I just accept, no, this is okay. This is fine. It's not always going to be completely balanced. Then there's some weeks where it might be the other way around, where I'm spending hours in the studio as opposed to doing work. And yeah, that's what it is. It all comes down to just listening to your body, I think,
Yeah.
and looking after yourself.
No, definitely. And I think everyone knows when they're doing something, that they really enjoy. It isn't work. It is you're probably in that flow state with when it comes to pottery. So it probably isn't like taking all of your energy out. It's actually maybe replenishing you.
It's a renewable energy source, that's for sure. I think if you can find something that that is a strength, then yeah, you found your renewable energy source and that will keep you going for a long time. But yeah, no, you're right. I think there's been some weeks where I feel totally stressed, I feel really down, and then I suddenly go into the studio. Oh, I just needed to create something. And I think we are living in a world now where we're consuming more than we're creating. And I think humans are creative individuals, even if you don't feel like it. I genuinely believe we all start out as a creative child and we just kind of block that out when we get older. But I do think we need it to survive.
Mm,
So yeah, you're right. It definitely kind of heals you in a way as well.
yeah. No, yeah. And I think definitely people have creative side and a non-creative side. So um I think everyone has that creativity in them. Um and okay, so someone has heard your journey and actually that sounds quite interesting having like pursuing your creative passions on the side, but then having a kind of corporate stable job. How can someone figure out what corporate job is right for them or corporate route?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I I wish I could go back to when I was a teenager and know what I knew now. I think number one, there's so many roles out there. There's so many roles you don't even know exist when you're at school because you kind of talk about, the stereotypical ones. So I'd say go out there and be curious and talk to people, use different platforms, go on kind of like LinkedIn. You've got even AI tools now. But I think my advice would be it all comes down to yourself and what you enjoy. You don't want to just pick a job out the air and think that that's going to be suitable. Something that we kind of do in our role now within talent and development is kind of really learning about your strengths. And strengths differ from a skill. If you can find your strengths, coming back to that renewable energy source and figuring out what you enjoy, what your values are, that can really help steer you in a direction of maybe what job you want to do. I mean, there's so many things now you can do, like personality tests or quizzes. I'd really kind of say, think about what you want to do in that kind of field, what suits you, and then follow that. Um, but yeah, talk to people as well. Be curious. Don't be afraid to kind of go online and reach out to people if something looks interesting, but you're not really sure. 9 times out of 10, that person will just want to help you and maybe have a conversation. So
Mm,
yeah, have fun with it and don't feel the pressure that the first job you go into has got to be the right one. Make the mistakes. It's all about taking risks, and yeah, you've got plenty of time. Careers are so squiggly that it doesn't have to be a straight line, and it doesn't have to be right first time.
definitely, definitely. And I think what you've I guess got you done really well is your corporate career has a bit of that flexibility because it's a big company, it's international. You could probably work from home sometimes, and I don't know, other things that allow you to then do your pottery on the side. Whereas if you had chosen maybe a corporate career that is quite demanding in different ways, then you might not
Yeah,
be able to do your pottery.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I think it comes down to how much you want to do something, because I think if I suddenly was made to go in the office again 5 days a week, I'd still find the time to do the pottery because it's I'm so driven. But you're right. Again, it comes back down to what kind of lifestyle do you want, what gives you energy and what serves you. And I think that's a really good point. And it's something maybe I hadn't even considered either. So yeah, yeah, that's a really good point. It's so different now. Jobs really vary on what they ask of you in terms of hybrid working and how
Yeah.
often you have to be in. So
Yeah. No, well, I've learned a lot from this session. I know it's already 20 minutes up, which has gone so quickly. I guess what would be your kind of final piece of advice for anyone? I know you've said loads already today, but any last minute advice or anything that you would do differently?
I think my advice would be just to take risks. And my favorite quote that I always think is just jump and the net will appear. Just take the risk. If you enjoy something or you're curious about something, lean into that. I really think passion and creativity is needed in your life. It gets you through the tough times, it gets you through those moments. So yeah, just take the risk and lean into
Oh, I
those
love that.
things that make you happy. So yeah, but no, I really appreciate you having me today. And yeah, it's been really nice to share my journey. So thank you.
No, thank you so much, Laura. I mean, I really relate because I had a corporate job when I first started as well. So I was an accountant. So I went down the finance route, even though I was really creative. And like you said, you have to take a risk. And I took a risk starting my own business and now, have created Eric. So, everything that you've just said, I guess I know it works. And I know that at the end of the day, like you said, jump and the net will appear. I love that quote.
No,
Um,
absolutely.
but yes, thank you everyone for joining us.